Okay, hi everyone. I'm back. So what I want to do now, this is basic design and sewing classes. And my first video, well, I have many videos, so I'm really trying to get my videos together. But this video, I'm going to show you how to true patterns correctly, using the dotted paper paper. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this apart. I should have already have taken it apart. Go ahead and take this apart here. Okay. So the way that I teach pattern making to my students, I actually give each student, a set of dress bodice, their particular size 4 all the way to 26. Only if you're my student, you can receive this at the actual school that I work at. But if you want to purchase this, I will sell these online. A pattern maker to make a dress bodice would probably, you would probably have to pay her $150 for 2 hours to make it, but I do sell these for like $85 because it's a lot of work that has to be processed, and I'm going to show you how to do that now. Okay, so here's the dotted paper, and the dots are like 1 inch apart. That's how most designers design. Designing, you definitely using math. 1 inch, 2 inch, a 1/4 inch around the neck, a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So it's very important. So I like to cut my paper out in quarters. So I'm gonna cut this out, and what I mean by quarters, I mean by square. I want to square this paper, and I'm going to take the bodice first. I'm going to take my front bodice, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut my paper. For Fashion Design 200, the students have to retrace the dress bodice that they're given onto the oaktag. And the reason for this, they're learning exactly, how to process this bodice. As far as the seam allowance, the information that goes on to this bodice. Each part of the dress is very important, and it has a name. Okay, so now I'm going to take some straight pins, and I am going to pin this bodice onto the paper, but I'm going to pull this back and stick that pin in between the paper and the oaktag, because while you are processing it, you can easily stick your finger, with the pin, and it does hurt. So that's one of the safety rules about processing a pattern. You want to make sure that you pin correctly to where that you do not hurt yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and stick those pins right in there, like that. Okay. So you process each piece in the same manner, because you're making a copy now, of your dress bodice pattern. Once you receive the oaktag, you want to make a copy, just in case you misplaced the real McCoy, which is the oaktag. So I have them make a copy, and also, learn how to work on the learn how to work with the dotted paper. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just trim around here before I true this, the first pattern, which is the bodice, the front bodice. Okay, so now I'm going to take my Sharpie, okay, and I am going to trace the front bodice, okay, because I'm making a copy for myself before I actually start working, you know, on a garment. Okay, I'm just going to true around. And you get the feel, you know, of working with, you know, the pattern. And this is the front bodice here. And I go by Skylier or Miss Skylier in school. Okay, so now I have traced it, and you can see on the back that I traced it with my Sharpie. So now what I want to do is take my awl, and I want to pierce my darts. Okay, so I'm going to go here and I'm going to pierce my darts so I can identify my darts. Okay, and I did that, so how you can see the holes, you know, right there. Okay, so now I'm going to remove the pins. Okay, so I'm removing the pins. Okay, so I'm removing it, and I'm going to place it right next to me because I need to copy the information onto this paper. Okay, so I have these little weights that I'm going to stick right here. And I actually put the scissors right here just so you can see what I'm doing. Okay. So all patterns have, all our seam allowance around our clothing is a 1/2 inch, you know. Sometimes it's a quarter turn, but a quarter turn ends up to be a 1/2 inch. So if you notice on your clothing that you're wearing, all seam allowance is a 1/2 inch, whether it's around the neck, you know, usually the neck is a quarter, but this right here I can tell is a 1/2. Okay, let's see. I totally forgot my ruler because I definitely need a ruler, and I think I see it. Okay, so I have my ruler. I forgot to add that with my materials and tools, but with the ruler, it's like 4 1/2 inches. You can see that right here. You only need 1. Okay, so I'm going to use this first 1/2 inch, and I'm going to line it up on the line right there on the line. You know, I don't know if you can see that. It's going to be right there on the line. Okay, a 1/2 inch, and I'm going to take my Sharpie and I'm going to true in that 1/2 inch. Okay, and I am going to keep going around the pattern here to the point. They have a point right here, which I would turn my ruler around and match it. Okay, so this is where I am right here. This is the point. You want to follow the lines, because a pattern should be straight lines, okay? Except when we start truing, you know, the armhole. Okay, and I like to circle my darts so I won't forget to true those in as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and true in my dart. It's only 1 dart for this, okay? So this is where I am right here. So I have the bottom seam allowance, and now I have the dart, okay? So now I'm going to true in the top part, which is the shoulder, and I'm going to use the smaller ruler. It's still a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to go ahead and true that in like this. Okay. And the neck is actually 1/2 of a 1/2 inch. Okay. So, and that's a 1/4. So it's 1/2 of a 1/2 inch, and I'm going to go ahead and true in my neck. And I'm going to turn it around. So here's where I'm working with a curve, okay? And you want to really turn that ruler around and take your time because you want it to be even all the way around. Okay, so take your time. It's 1/2 of a 1/2, and normally I just really true in a little bit at a time. You know, you don't really want to go too fast, because see, there it is. Okay, so you really want to turn the ruler around, you know, for those curves. Okay, so it's like your sleeve here, and it's a 1/2 inch. So I'm just going to make a mark right there, and a few, you know, markings like right here, a mark right here, and then I'm going to match them, okay? Because it's a curve, you know. The pattern is starting to curve now. So we want to make sure we recognize that, okay? So now I can match these up together, okay? So whenever there's a curve, which is the neck and the arm, you kind of want to do that, you know. You don't want to like, you know, just make a long line because, or a straight line, because it's not a straight line, you know, it's a curve. Okay, so, okay, and so now we have the seam allowance, you know, the 1/4, 1/4 neck, okay, 1/4 neck, and then we have the shoulder, we have the sides, we have the armhole, and the waist, 1/2, okay? It's all 1/2 seam allowance. You have the shoulder, the armhole, you have the sides, and you have, you know, you have the waist, all 1/2. Okay, now the most important part is, you know, your grain line. So this is a 2-inch ruler. I'm going to apply 1 inch, and then I'm just going to make my arrow, because this is telling the pattern maker, the sample store, that this is the direction I would like to lay my fabric. And I'm also going to say grain line, okay, and I'm going to put my name, date, okay, size, and this is a size 4, and my company name right there, okay. And not only that, I'm going to name the pattern, and the pattern name is front bodice. So this is my front bodice, and I always put my size here, size 4, okay? So now we're going to cut it out, and the most important thing when cutting it out, you want to cut right on the line, okay? So you want to take your paper scissors, and you want to cut right on the line, okay? Cut this out like that, okay? Because sometimes when, you know, sometimes I'll have students that are like scared to cut, and they will, you know, probably cut and leave like a white space. No, cut on the line, because that's like extra fabric, or, you know, extra room. And this is a perfect pattern, okay? So you want to cut right on the line. Okay. Like this. Okay, so I'm cutting out my neck right on that line there. Okay. And I'm cutting out. Right on that line. Okay. Okay, I'm cutting right on the line here. See, so you can see this. Put the pins there. Okay. And since this is a fitted dress, it came with the dart. You know, most dresses are not fitted, but the bodice dress pattern is a fitted. Okay, so here you go. So this is basically all that you do, you know, for the oaktag dress bodice. You want to copy it exactly the way it is, okay, right here. So it's exactly, you know, the same thing because it's the same dress. And I will show you how it looks with the dart folded. So I'm going to go ahead and, you know, fold my dart. Okay. And I'm going to match my dart, you know, like this. And it's going to shape itself into, you know, a top. So I'm going to go ahead and pin it. Okay. And here you go. So this is the bust area. It pins right up against the breast area. So it's a nice fitted dress. Okay. So that's what the dart is for. Okay. So that is the front bodice. Okay, and I will demonstrate the back bodice and the skirt and the sleeve. Okay, starting to shape up into a nice top. Okay. All right, thank you. I'll see you in the next video.